Hi, and welcome to episode 4 of FocalPoint, bringing business and success into focus. My name is John Cutler, and I'm a certified FocalPoint business coach and franchisee owner of FocalPoint Business Coaching Alberta, where our proven curriculum is powered by the excellence of Brian Tracy. I work with business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives to help them achieve their personal and business goals faster than they ever thought possible. Every week, I share some of the incredible world-class business material that FocalPoint coaches around the world get to share with their clients and work through with their clients. When you apply these time-tested and proven strategies to your business, you will have a result of incredible improvements to your time, your team, your profitability, and your exit strategy. Also, every week I'll be interviewing a different business owner, and with the help of my fellow FocalPoint colleagues, we'll be discussing a current issue that they're facing within their business. It's a great snapshot on what business coaching is all about. Now, the last episode, we were talking about a technique called diamond mining and how you can use it to improve your business and life. Session 4, today, what we'll be talking about is creating your own strategic plan. And so, as Evan cues that up, the PowerPoint that I've put together for the show, we'll get on with it. Okay. And Luke, our guest, has arrived. Fantastic, Luke. Now, clarity does lead to power. Your ability to think, plan, decide, and take action largely determines the course of your life. The better you become at each area, the better will be each area of your life, and the faster you'll be able to achieve your goals. Personal strategic planning is the tool you use to get from wherever you are to wherever you want to go. The difference between a person who uses personal strategic planning as a central part of his or her life and one who does not is the difference between a person who rides a bicycle and a person who rides a car. Both will get you from point A to point B, but the car, which is personal strategic planning, will get you there much faster and easier. Personal strategic planning is a systematic way of thinking and is therefore learnable, just like learning to type or learning to drive a car. So with that, we'll get into the PowerPoint. There are 8 foundational strategic questions that you have to ask yourself, and I'll just preface this by saying there's a lot more to this session than what we're going to be able to provide today. I'll be able to provide some information on how you can tap into the additional information that we're not able to include today. But here are the 8 foundational strategic questions. Answering these questions will bring clarity to your quest for an ideal business and career. So number 1, values. What are the values, virtues, qualities, and traits that are most important to you in your business and career? If you don't have your values identified, then you're not going to be able to make decisions based on those values. But once you do have your values in place, every decision that you make moving forward has to comply with those values. If they don't, it's going to increase your stress level. Number 2, vision. If your business and vision were perfect in 5 years from today, what would it look like? And just a reminder, if we're going too fast here, this will be available on demand within the next 24 hours. Number 3 is mission. Based on your values and vision, specifically, how do you achieve your vision? That's your mission statement. Number 4, purpose. Every truly successful entrepreneur and business owner has an overarching purpose to their business, a genuine desire to serve others through the business. What's the purpose of your business and career? Okay. Number 5, goals. What specific goals must you achieve in order to fulfill your ideal future vision in your vision and career? It's probably business and career is what it should be. Number 6, knowledge and skills. In what areas do you have to excel in the future in order to achieve your goals and fulfill your vision? So you have to identify where are your weaknesses, what type of learning do you have to do in order to build those up so that you can achieve that goal and your vision. Number 7, your habits. What specific habits of thought and action will you need to become the person who is capable of achieving the goals you've set for yourself? Daily activities. What specific activities will you have to engage in each day to assure that you become the person you want to become and achieve the goals you want to achieve? So those are all clearly very important questions that you have to ask yourself. If you're having trouble figuring out the answers, for sure contact me and I'll give you a way to do that a little bit later. Okay, so with that, welcome back. And I'm very happy to introduce my guest today, Luke Lavorato. And I'm just going to read his bio here. Is the director and owner of Sportball Edmonton. And Luke graduated from the University of Alberta. We're fellow alumni. With a law and economics degree while playing football on a full scholarship. Now, I'd like to know, when did they start introducing full scholarships? Because I sure didn't get one.
Like officially or unofficially?
Okay.
That's the question. Actually, it was right during my year. There's 3 of us that got the full scholarships. 3 people that were highly recruited out of Alberta, and I kind of got it started. So I was kind of lucky.
How convenient.
Yeah. Right.
Luke's happily married to Stacy, and they have 3 amazing children, Mason, Tony, and Oliver. Also, through Skype, I'd like to welcome Hugh Tafel, who's no stranger to the program, although we now have a visual of Hugh. So it's amazing what a few weeks and a new computer does, Hugh.
Yes,
I have to put in my earbuds. Sorry. Okay, here we go. Live TV again. Hugh, can you hear me?
Yes,
okay.
Good morning.
Perfect. And Hugh is the FocalPoint certified business coach and online social media marketing consultant based out of the Mountain Resort community of Canmore, Alberta. He works with business owners and professionals on how to best use the powerful new online and mobile marketing tools and platforms so they get more leads, customers, and profits. Hugh offers a free white paper on how businesses are using the new internet marketing platforms to acquire customers. You can find that at tafelmarketing.com. So, Luke, you were listening in on the educational component of the show, and what were your thoughts initially?
On the 8 different I think they're great. I mean, I think the biggest key that kind of screams out there is that you have to have a purpose, and you have to have a passion for that purpose. And if you don't stick to that goal, then there's a lot of things in business that'll take you off that track. So I thought that was the biggest thing out of those 8 points that you were trying to portray.
Absolutely. So, Sportball, for the viewers who don't know what Sportball is, just give us a brief description of what that is.
No problem. Sportball is I guess the staple statement is that it's a high-energy, non-competitive sports program where we teach kids 8 different sports in a very structured atmosphere. So the concept is we're bringing them multiple sports in a way that they're going to not only enjoy it, but remember it at the same time. So they barely even know they're learning, but at the end of the day, they go home and they're going to tell you all about, a donkey that kicked a frog into a hoop. But in reality, we're teaching them about basketball, which is wonderful. And it's a way to get kids active, and that's the main goal. We want to see kids get active. We want to just, shine encouragement into them, teach them all about sports in a really positive atmosphere so that when they go out and they're, want to play basketball with their friends or hockey, they have this great image in their head as opposed to a negative first experience. So that's the goal of it. I mean, the goal is to just love kids and to teach them about sports in a great way.
And speaking from experience, I've had one of our kids has taken Sportball a couple of times. Awesome. We're going to be enrolling him in the 3rd one right away in the summer. And from my experience, Luke is right. I mean, it's high energy, totally positive, and just a great environment for kids. So
thank you. So I appreciate that.
Thanks for bringing it to town.
Oh, hey, trust me, the pleasure was mine.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the business.
Absolutely.
Okay. For you personally, what defines success for you?
Oh, I think the biggest thing that defines success is being able to relate to our fans or our customers. That's what we call our fans or our sportballers, right? The kids are called sportballers. The customers are called. I mean, if we can't give them what they need and what they're hoping for from the program, it'll never work. And I guess the way we do that, for me, I mean, we have a phenomenal curriculum. And actually, I was just talking to one of my old coaches at the U of A yesterday. His kids were in one of our classes. They've been in a lot of our classes, actually. And the main thing that people love is our coaches. That's what sells. I mean, if you go into a sportball class, you're going to get the highest level of coaching possible because we train them really hard. We set up very high expectations, but we also reward them for doing a great job. And so if you don't have the right people with a business like this, and I think with any business, but especially where it's like a soft business where there's no real physical, tangible product, then it won't work. And so it doesn't matter how great the curriculum is, doesn't matter how smart I am in terms of my marketing and my business plan. If I don't have people to deliver what I want to deliver, it's not going to happen.
Right. And that's a great point. And certainly what you're talking about does transcend most businesses.
Absolutely.
Right? It's about hiring the right staff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. What do you see, and how long have you been here in the market?
We're on our third year, so it's been about 2.5 years.
Okay.
After the summer, that'll be officially 3 years.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Happy so far?
Love it.
Scale of 1 to 10, not on your happiness,
Okay.
but what you've achieved so far.
You know what? I'm very grateful. So in terms of my, how grateful I am for our success, definitely a 10.
Yeah.
But for where I think I want to go, I'm like at a 1. So
and we'll for sure get into that.
Yeah, absolutely.
When Hugh gets on the line, because I know you've got some big plans coming.
I do.
What do you see are the main weaknesses in your business right now?
I'd say, it's tough. It's time. I mean, my time to get out to like evaluate what's going on. But actually, I've been really working hard on this semester and doing it. I mean, I only started doing it full time about 6 months ago. I was working 3 different jobs because I have 3 kids and I was kind of doing both. But, I should have transitioned 6 months earlier and just trusted it. But at the same time, when you have kids, you're very careful.
I think we talked about that 6 months
We did. Yeah, we did. And you gave me some great advice at that time, too, as usual. But it's, I think, time for me to get out there and see everybody. And a little bit of communication. We're really working on being, dotting all our I's and crossing our T's. And, I just hired about 6 months ago an admin named Joyce Steves, who's unbelievable. She's revolutionized the way we've done business. And so we're really coming a long way with that. But I want to be perfect in that area where parents know up to date everything that's going on. There's no questions, no concerns, and everybody's got that. So I think that's our biggest weakness right now.
And that's a great lesson on effective staffing as well as delegating.
Absolutely.
Right, because what Luke's been able to do is get somebody in to do that stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that's a low value activity, but for you have higher value activities.
Right.
And so now that you've
it's just
done that,
skill sets, right? Like skill sets is not a lot of people in my business that can do what my skill set is. Yeah. Right? I was talking to the other company, NBC Camps, about that. They said, well, we really want your paperwork to get better and before you start expanding NBC. And I said, listen, I can pay someone to do my paperwork. Right. There's lots of amazing people out there that are phenomenal at paperwork. That's not my strength. Right, like I can do it. I'm not bad at it, but my strength is being able to go out there and do PR and expand and develop people. So don't make me do that because that's not my strength. So that's the same thing with this. I had to say, okay, my strength isn't, putting through registration forms, answering phone calls, that kind of thing. That's Joyce's strength. Right. She's way better than I am. Yeah. So that's where I had to say, okay, let's give that to her. And a little bit of marketing I'm going to give to my main guy, Dale Wright, who's incredible at it. So he's better at it than I am. So it's just figuring out who's better at what and using your strengths to their abilities.
Absolutely. Lessons from a 28-year-old business owner. Not bad. Okay. Well, you mentioned time. Tell us about what's coming down the road for Sportball, and you're looking to expand, and that's I think what we're going to be digging into, and we'll get Hugh on the line as well to chime in.
Sounds good. Hugh, you're welcome at any time, bud. There's so much that we're doing. Let's just talk internally. Within Edmonton, we're going to start coming to the north side more. Like, we don't have a ton of locations like in the Londonderry, Clairview area. Right. So we started south and kind of worked our way north. So that's internally, that's what we're going to do. We're also starting to expand with a new program called Fit Kids. Now, Fit Kids is a sport ball program, but it's not the same concept where we're teaching them sports. We're teaching them literally how to get into shape. Like, it's for older kids, like 6 to 12, and it is one of the most remarkable programs I've ever seen. And it's like, you might look at it and say it's not revolutionary because we're doing push-ups and sit-ups and stuff like that, but it's the way in which we deliver it that's phenomenal. They don't even know they're working out, and they're working on their core, they're working on their fine motor skills, they're working on, like, you'd be amazed what you can get a 6-year-old to do. Like, we have these medicine balls, and they'll hold them up for 5 minutes just above their head because we're playing a game with them about, like, holding the world, like Atlas, the Greek mythology, you know what I mean? So it's amazing what they do. We did a workshop on it. Mark Gelger, the creator of Sportball, came and did one with our coaches, and I'm not going to lie to you, I have some of the most athletic coaches you'll find. They're all CIS or college athletes, and we were all just beat by the end of it. And we just was smiling and having fun. So we're going to start bringing that to schools because we work out of a lot of schools now. We've been really blessed with that. And then we're also going to maybe introduce like some demo classes in the summer because we've had so much demand for older kids because people are like, hey, when we're finished sport ball, there's nothing else for our kids to do. So this is a great way to keep their kids in sport ball with our awesome coaches. And, because with the fit kids, it's really great for, like, just general athleticism. So that's why I love it. I'm so stoked to start it.
Is that a longer-term program?
Same. You know what? I might vary it to be like a 12-week instead of a 10-week because we track their progress. And that's kind of our way of saying, hey, look how far you've come, and just another way to encourage the kids. So,
great. Yeah. Well, Hugh, do you want to join us here? Do you have any questions for Luke?
Yeah, thanks, and thanks for inviting me. Luke, phenomenal passion, which is number one, I think. So
Thank you.
me, it sounds like you're in the right business.
Yeah.
For you.
Sure.
A little dig with John. John, regarding scholarships, maybe you just weren't good enough.
I didn't want to say it, Hugh.
We're not getting into that.
We're colleagues, so I'm allowed a little giving.
That's great.
I'd like to tie in what John talked about earlier first, and then I'll ask my questions if that's okay, Luke.
Absolutely.
One of the key aspects of any, in managing your time, I'm going to tell you this, that you're going to be more crunched with time going forward than you've ever been in your life, and that's just a fact. So how you organize it and manage it, this is really the key to success. But it all starts with your vision. So I just want to ask some questions. Where do you see you with this business 5 years from now? What kind of operation will it be? How many kids will you be handling, so to speak? Size of employees? Do you have a sense of that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's kind of somewhat because, like, we've just grown so fast, so quick. I mean, we're the fastest sportball franchisee to hit 1,000 kids. Like, for this semester, we had 1,150 kids sign up just for the 3 months. So it's just, in 2 years, it's not normal. And I think that's a huge testament to the city of Edmonton, too, and that they really are committed to, getting kids in shape, and that's a wonderful thing.
And it truly is an international franchise.
Yeah, it's in Singapore, it's in Texas, it's in California. Actually, I guess that kind of depends on, just to kind of answer the question, we are actually coming to Red Deer come the fall. I'm partnering with someone named Brandon Robb, who's a stud. And actually, we have a meeting this Friday with the city of Red Deer to make it a city-run program. So if that goes well,
Excellent.
Who knows, right? It could be the city of Red Deer. We could get 1,000 kids there in a year. Because especially now that I've seen the business model and I've done it once, doing it a second time is going to be even better. And I've got about 20 people on staff right now, and there's probably 10 of them that are like, hey, if you need me to go anywhere, I'm there. So I could send them to Red Deer to help Brandon, and it's going to be just like sending just absolute weapons. So, and then we're also going to be going to California. My sister, Natalie, and my father and my mother are going to run it there. My parents not as much because they're old and retiring, but they're obviously not going to let their daughter fail. And we're going to take it to kind of the Saratoga, Palo Alto area, and that could be who knows. So I'm really excited for that. I actually might send one of my best guys down there to help Natalie out, but especially because they just cut the phys ed program in California, which is sad.
Is that right?
Yeah, they cut it out of the school district, so there's no phys ed. They just basically have 1 hour where they can say you can run around the track if you want, and that's all they do. So that is what a huge opportunity for us to get in there and just say, hey, we'll run your phys ed. We're already doing it here. Like, we just talked to a school this morning that we're super excited to go to, where we're going to go in there once a month and do like a special event where we, do stuff like that. So when we run stuff out of schools a lot, so that could be huge. So in 5 years, we could be, my goal is to get to, I always tell my staff this, the more kids that I get you in touch with is the more opportunities for them to meet awesome people that are going to be great influences in their lives. And that's my vision, that's my passion, is that I want to just encourage kids as much as I can and teach them how they can gain self-confidence with sports. And not in a bigger, stronger, faster way. Go ahead,
if I can kind of interject, I think this is great. But what we found as coaches, and John will concur with you there, is one of the key things is to make goals effective, they need to be specific.
Oh, absolutely.
So actually have a number. So
well, if you want the numbers, I got them.
Let's say with your Edmonton franchise first. How many kids
in 5 years?
What would be the ideal number for you?
Okay, so I have the numbers. Sorry, I was beating around the bush. So for Edmonton, I would love to have 2,500 kids in 5 years. 2,500 would be, we'd match Toronto. And that's, if we could match Toronto, they've been around for 17 years. So, but I don't, I honestly think that we could do that. With the way we're getting into schools.
2,500 kids means you're...
Per semester.
How often are they interacting with your group?
Once
What
a
does that
week. So basically they come for 3 weeks, 3 months at a time, and they'll come once a week for those 3 weeks. And we'll have like a 10-week semester or a 6-week semester. Summer's a bit different. We have camps and soccer and stuff like that. So if we can get an average of 2,500 kids every 3, so it's about 10,000 kids a year, which would be huge for us. And then also I'd like to run about 10 or 11 birthday parties a week. We're doing about 5 or 6. It's just tough because you only have so many people to run stuff, and they all want it on the weekends, and that's when the majority of our classes are. So we're trying to find a balance there, and Joyce and I have created a pretty good system for that. But if I could get between 15 and 20 birthdays a weekend working, or throughout the week, that'd be huge, because birthdays are actually our best way to advertise. They're fantastic advertising tools.
Okay, so now we have kind of a number, and you said you've done 1,000.
I think this semester, the official count, I'm still doing it. It's around 1,150, but that's a rough estimate.
Okay, so I mean, this is only doubling more or less, or 150%. So that's not. You could probably get there in 2 years, but a 5-year target is great. What do you need to do to get there? What's blocking you? Like, in other words, I know you kind of just started, but we always ask this question: why aren't you there right now? What's the main constraint?
Good question. I'm sorry, by 5 years, I meant like in 5 years from when I started. So in essence, I meant 3 years. Because that's my 5-year plan from day one. Like, that's when I created it. I said, okay, in a year I want to be at 500. At 2 years I want to be at 1,000, which we hit, which was awesome. Mm-hmm. And now I'm heading for the 2,500 mark. Overall, I'd like to be...
for anyone who's listening right now, that you've had these goals and a plan.
Day one, yeah.
Okay, so you're sort of in year 3. What's the main constraint? Like, what's the most important thing you need to do to hit that number? Train
people. We have a lead coach or all-stars or legendary coaches. We classify them in each category. They are what makes the program. If you have a lead coach, you can throw a monkey in and they'll do fine, because the lead coaches are phenomenal. So the more lead coaches I can create, and it's also the business model. I'm really trying to figure out how can I get people to be full-time, because the hours are weird. Like, they're not normal because kids sleep at certain times and they don't sleep. So figuring out the proper business model, and we are, which is great. I've got about 2 or 3 full-timers that we found something out that's really working for them, and they're making great money, which is great. And so just figuring out how I can do that more and more and more is the biggest thing. And so figuring out how to make more lead coaches, and that's why I'm getting into classes more, and we have our mentorship program rolling out, which is really good. So this is actually the biggest thing that's holding it. It's like, because locations isn't a big deal. People want sport ball wherever. Yeah. And so when I go and propose it to them, it's like a no-brainer. We've actually never had somebody say, really, we had one place say no because they had something that was already there like it, but other than that, everyone's pretty much said yes.
Okay, so defining people, what's the key activity that you need to do to find these people or train them? What's your stumbling block regarding time, I guess, to match your challenge that you mentioned earlier?
Well, it's getting people experience within the classes that we have. It's kind of making the transition from people that are just looking for a job just to kind of pay the bills, and people that want to make it their life. Yeah. So we've got, like I said, we've got about 3 or 4 people that are really doing that, and now it's just creating from 3 or 4 to 5 or 6 to 7 or 8 to 10 or 20, where it's like these people, sport ball is what they do. And the good thing is we are making that transition. I've got about 2 or 3 people I hired this semester that, one of them in particular, he could change the world himself. Like, he's just getting more people like that.
Yeah, and I would suspect that those stellar staff members that you have, they probably know other people that are similar to themselves.
And I'd say 95% of our coaching hiring comes from internal. I'm a huge believer on referrals within, because if people have if they're great, usually they're surrounding yourself with great people. So I love hiring people that are recommended by others, because I've just seen a huge success from that.
Awesome. Hugh, some closing comments?
Well, obviously this kind of thing would require, some in-depth questioning. So, Luke, really, what I have determined for you, there's sort of a question that I ask all of my clients, and I can tell you, questions of time come up with almost every session that I have. And so for you, this question, if you ask yourself continually, would probably be useful, which is, what is the most valuable use of my time right now in relationship to where you want to go? And so when you think about it, you think about your you think about your goals, and then you break them down. Well, what's your goal this year, and then your goal this month, and then your goal this week, and what activities do you need to do? It all stems down to the activities, and so you ask yourself the question continually, what's the most valuable use of my time at the moment, and am I doing it? If you can ask yourself that question continually, then I think you will probably reach your goals faster than you think.
And that's pretty much the biggest thing I've had to learn to do is like, I don't need to do the invoicing. I don't need to do the scheduling. So you're absolutely right. Am I using my skill sets to my best abilities? And that's why I'm trying to get out and talk to people, because that's where my strength lies. Like, I'm not shy. So that's it. I totally agree with you. I appreciate that. That's great advice.
Okay, excellent. Thanks, Hugh. So we'll start to wrap up. We have some of course take action items that to look at. So if you could, Evan, call up the. Thank you very much. So the individual products that we have, the DISC assessment, it's a behavioral profiling online system, and for people who maybe don't have the talent to acquire good people, this is a great deal. It's a great thing to have when you're looking at particular candidates. So it really does limit your risk. For watching today, we're going to offer that at $97. The next one, we have financial reports available. Any NAICS coded industry, I can provide a great financial report. It sees how you're tracking against your competition, what the industry is doing. We also have another individual product. Hugh and I would like to extend to anybody watching one-time 30-minute, no obligation. It's a pure entrepreneurial call. It's free of charge, and Hugh would very much have a similar type of questioning, as would I, and we really do get into where your business is, where your life is, and we'll just see if we can help you with that. The Platinum package, we just bundle it all up for $197. Go to that link, and it'll explain everything a little bit further in detail. And then what I would suggest looking at is, in order to clarify this particular session of creating your personal strategic plan, book a 90-minute session with Hugh or myself. There are so many other questions to go deeper and deeper and deeper, and we really get a lot of stuff done with this particular session, as we do with all of them, but there's just so much more that we couldn't even come close to sharing all of it today. Again, follow that same link. If you're interested in looking at a franchise of FocalPoint, just give me a call or reach out on email. Great. Well, we've provided a ton of value today. I'd sure like to thank Luke. Your passion just shone through, which I knew it would. And there's certainly a reason that you're becoming so successful in what you're doing. And I think passion is just a huge part of it.
Thank you.
Coach Hugh down in Canmore, thanks again, Hugh. Great stuff as always. Next week we're going to be looking at. Did you have something to say, Hugh? I know you're still there.
No, just saying, great to be on the show. Thanks, and Luke, good to meet with you. And I know you're going to be very, very successful. Just keep track on what's important. Keep looking, if not daily, weekly. Are you on track with your goals? Measurement is key. And hire your people who are aligned with your values. That's one of the critical aspects. When you really know what your values are, then you can make sure that anybody you hire, as long as they have the same values, then you're on the same page right from the get-go. And the DISC assessment, I don't know if John's offering you that as a bonus for being on the show, but I recommend it. Ask him.
Jeez, Liz, you. Okay,
at least one. But I mean, it helps you make sure that you hire the right people, particularly if they're critical people. And you can find more in this DISC assessment than you can sometimes having them on your staff for 2 years.
Yeah, awesome. It's a managing for success tool, so you could get a lot out of it too. Great, thanks for that, Hugh. And
thanks, Hugh.
We'll split the cost on that, right? Anyway, next week, join me at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, FuseLogic.tv. We're going to be talking about defining your business, and that's another great session. Folks, there's no better time than right now to start improving on yourself and your business, so act on it. And again, we'll see you next week. Thanks again, Luke. Thanks again, Hugh, and see you next week.